So the NFL draft has finished for another year, all those months of work, and it's over in 3 days. But the Seahawks have had a really good 3 days. Instead of doing a live stream, because I've had about 4 hours sleep over the last 2 days, I'm just going to do this quick video recap to give my thoughts on what I think the Seahawks have done. I think this is the kind of draft that they had to have. You know, we have been talking, people who've been following this channel for the last few weeks, people who've been following SeahawksDraftBlog.com know that we've been talking about having a foundational draft where you build the structure for the future success, and that involves building through the trenches. What have they done? They've taken 2 offensive tackles. They've taken 2 pass rushers. They've taken a running back. They've invested in 2 cornerbacks and 2 receivers. The premium positions, all of them. You know, the key to the NFL these days has been, can you protect your quarterback? Can you attack the opponent's quarterback in the pass with the pass rush? Can you have good receivers that your quarterback can throw the ball to? And if you've got good quarterbacks who can defend those receivers, that's the game. That's the game. It's always been the game, but it feels even more so these days. So the Seahawks have invested in the right kind of positions, the premium positions that they needed to invest in. Now, look, moving forward, you aren't going to fill every need in one draft. Unless you have like 4 first-round picks and they're all in the top 10, you're going to really struggle to fill all of your needs. Admittedly, in the next off-season or two, they are going to have to find a game-wrecking defensive player, probably a pass rusher of some kind, that's an interior rusher or whether it's an outside rusher. They have not had a game-wrecking defensive player for some time, and they are going to have one if they're going to realise their potential to become a contender again in the future. And they're going to have to find a quarterback. It's a good quarterback draft next year. There's a really good pass rusher in the draft next year. There's a couple of really good pass rushers in the draft next year. So I'm excited. You know, frankly, right now, if I wasn't so tired, I'd probably be throwing on some quarterback tape for the 2023 class or some pass rushing tape and getting straight into it. But I can't wait to get into it. And after a couple of days, I'm going to be right back at this, watching the tape, trying to find out what I can about the next year's draft class, because it's going to be a big 12 months for the Seahawks. And as we follow through college football, you know, I cannot wait to write and talk about college football season instead. I wish it was September now, because I just want to get into it. Feels like there's a big year coming forward. But to go back to this draft class, you know, look, to have invested in 2 young offensive tackles who can grow this team, and with your prior investments in receiver, with DK Metcalf, who's almost certainly going to get a contract extension in the next couple of months, and Tyler Lockett, and you've drafted DeEskridge last year, you've drafted a couple of receivers again this year, you've just drafted Kenneth Walker to play running back, you've got Rashad Penny in there still. You know, whoever is going to be the quarterback, whether that is Drew Lock, I don't think it's going to be Geno Smith. If it is, it's only going to be for 1 year, but Drew Lock's at least got some long-term potential. But if it's him, if it's somebody else who comes in, they're going to come into a team that is presumably going to be able to run the ball with the receiver, with the running back in now. They're going to be able to throw to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and DeEskridge and others. They are going to have, and Noah Fant, they have got 2 offensive tackles bookending who are going to take their lumps this year and by next year be all the better for it. You are going to place a quarterback into that system that has got everything he needs to succeed. That's a good thing. That's a foundation that you are building for future success. That's what they had to get done. And on defense, you've now got 3 good pass rushers who can come in Chenna Nwosu, Darrell Taylor, and Boya Mafe. You still need that game record. Hopefully one of them can become that. Darrell Taylor might become that. Boya Mafe might become that. You know, I'm not going to count them out completely. Still feels to me like they need a defensive game changer, though. So you've got some pieces there to move this thing forward. So for me, you know, I don't do draft grades. I never write anything like this. But for me, Seahawks get an A+. Doesn't mean that these players are going to work out. I'm not being a fanboy. You know, people who are listening to this who are not Seahawks fans are going to accuse me of just being biased because of the team. You know, go and follow my other work. I can show you a lot of emails I get about me not being particularly positive about the team over the last sort of 12 months to 24 months. I think they knocked it out of the park with this draft. I don't think they could have done anything better. They played the hand that they were dealt. No, I wasn't a huge fan of Charles Cross going into this draft, but do you know what? I'm not just going to assume that my opinion's gospel. I hope for the best for him. He needs to get into the weight training program. He needs to get stronger. He needs to get more muscle definition. He needs to prepare himself for the pro game. But he can do that now he's in the NFL. Loved Abraham Lucas. Thought he was a fringe first round, second round talent. They got him in round 3. Boya Mafe. Forget the age. Who cares? 1.56 10-yard split. 42-inch vertical. So impressive at the Senior Bowl. Made it look effortless as he attacked 1v1v1s. Fantastic in the game as well. You know, he's got everything he needs. Strong hands. He can win with power. He can win with speed. Very, very good player. Kenneth Walker, fantastic player. Fantastic. Carried Michigan State. Maybe he can carry the Seahawks as well. I'm really, really pleased with that pick. I think he could be one of the NFL's top rushers within a couple of years. might even be able to have the same impact that someone like Jonathan Taylor had with the Indianapolis Colts. So I really like that pick as well. And, moving into, I thought they got good value with their cornerbacks. Tariq Woolen, I had in round 2. They got him in round 5. Kobe Bryant, got him in the range that I expected him to go. Tough, hard-nosed player. Tyreek Smith can come in and be a rotational pass rusher. Bo Melton, they got in round 7. I had him in round 4. The other receiver they got, I sort of round 6, round 7, but he's a potential, only been playing receiver a couple of years. Very good player in terms of the physical traits that he has to develop into something else. Seahawks invested in the right kind of positions, in the premium positions, and they started this rebuild in the way they had to start the rebuild. And the final point, they showed great restraint in not getting involved in this quarterback class, despite all of the media saying they should, despite all of the mock drafts, despite all of the Malik Willis talk from people who clearly haven't watched him play, and the same with Desmond Ridder. They resisted. They did not reach on any of these third-round graded quarterbacks and take them, because this is not the quarterback class to draft from. It was a foundational draft class. You build through the trenches, not because of philosophy. That's what this draft was telling you. That's where the talent was. That's where the players were. And they invested in the right positions, 1 for this rebuild and 2 for this draft class. So big thumbs up for me for the Seahawks. Big thumbs up. Great job. Thank you to everybody who's been following over the last few weeks. What are we going to do now on the channel? We're going to get into 2023. Onwards and upwards. Let's go and find out who's next for this rebuild. Until next time, see you then.